Hi, I'm Beth Berry. I'm Vice President of Business Development for Real Green Systems. We are based in Walled Lake, Michigan. And today on Impact, I have with me my guest, Dusty Montiel. Dusty is from 1-2 Tree in the Miami area. If you've ever attended a solutions conference, you've probably met Dusty and Iris. They're rock stars. I love Mark, their founder, as well. And we wanted to check in with 1-2 Tree and get a state of the union on the COVID crisis, how it's impacting the green industry your way, what's working from a marketing perspective, what are insights you have from employees and customers. So Dusty, introduce yourself, give us a little background on yourself and on 1-2 Tree.
Well, thank you, Beth, for inviting me. And yes, we're 1-2 Tree out of Miami. We are a pest control, lawn care, and tree service company. We started as a tree service company back 37 years ago, and have adapted to the changes over the years. And now our biggest division is lawn care. We have been growing our pest control for the last 6 years, and the tree service still continues to be strong. We are still doing tree trimming, stump grinding. We have the full outfit going. And these changes have these new normals, like we've said in the last meeting, is definitely have been challenging for everybody, from the office staff to the service department to the sales. And yeah, that's who I am. I'm the general manager for both the lawn care and the pest control. We do have an arborist on staff, Rick Baracus. He's the manager for the tree division. And like Beth said, Mark is the president and founder of 1-2 Tree. Him and his brother were partners in this business until, unfortunately, his brother passed away shortly before I came into the company in 2006. So that's a little bit of our background there.
Very good. So what are the differences you are seeing in terms of consumer response between pest control and lawn? And note that you're in the deep south of Florida, so pest control is not a luxury there. But what are your customer insights in terms of COVID coming to the house, coming inside the house, and what are the differences between lawn and pest?
Well, for inside the house, we prepared to tell our technicians that be respectful of the spaces of the customer to go inside. We've always been, booties on, gloves, very respectful. And we have now even gone further to putting on respirators or, one of these little face masks that we use, gloves still. And customers, when they see that we've taken the precautions, the face shields, the whole nine, that we've taken the precaution to go inside their homes, they've been very understanding. They give us our space and our time to do our jobs. And inside pest control actually has been one of the most continuous services of customers asking us and calling us to go inside their properties.
And are you guys 100% residential, or for the most part residential?
We are 80% lawn care and 20% pest control.
And in terms of, do you go to homes or businesses, residential, commercial, what's the mix?
We do residential, probably about 90%, only about 10% commercial work. We have stayed away. It's a little bit harder down in Miami. We have a lot of competition for commercial work. And since we've been doing residential work since '87, that's where we're mostly known for. So the commercial, we promote it and we try to get into it. It's just a little bit more competitive to get into that market.
I see. So we have heard from pest control is that some consumers don't want us in the home and businesses, excuse me, allergy season. And consumers kind of don't want us in the home, and businesses, it depends on the vertical. So if you're in hospitality or lodging, that's been a little bit more difficult, but clearly in the deep south, you're not going to have pests. When I was at Scott's Miracle-Gro in 2008, we added Ortho Home Defense, and we did find pest control to be a little more recession proof at times, because that's just not something you can give up. You might be able to give up a little bit of green in your lawn at times, but certainly not that. So when you're out on lawns treating properties, are customers comfortable with your being there as well?
Yes, and before we go to lawns, actually in pest control, since we started the pest control division 6 years ago, roughly, we have been mostly promoting the perimeter outside treatments, making a barricade, protecting you from the outside instead of having to come inside all the time. So our customers were already kind of geared to knowing that we're doing perimeter treatments and so forth. Upon request, we go inside. And since we've been doing that with our pest division, we kind of really have not seen a slowdown. Now, for COVID back in March 9th, when this kind of started really ramping up, and Miami-Dade being one of the hot spots in South Florida, it was a little weird where we were in the position for our staff that Mark and the management team, we did decide to shut down for about 3.5 weeks. We initially wanted to shut down for 2 weeks, and it ended up going to 3.5 weeks just as the numbers started to climb. Our customers were continuously calling and calling the office as we had completely shut down, and the need for their services continued. We were a little bit more on the very surprised side that the volume of customers that were calling to receive services was that high and that demand. We thought some way, somehow people were going to be involved in the whole breakout of the COVID and kind of like, where are we at and what's the status? But that was not the case. We actually just continued to get more calls and more calls that once we cleared our staff for 3.5 weeks, we were in contact with them, how they were doing, their families were fine, and they got kind of comfortable to this new normal. We said, okay, now we need to go back to doing our treatments for our customers. And when we came back, it was a bombardment of voicemails, emails. I mean, where are you? We need you. It's an emergency. And since last Wednesday, which was the 27th, I think it might have been of April. No, the 22nd of April, we reopened partially with a couple of our technicians and a couple of our staff members. And we rapidly knew that we needed to bring back the whole entire staff. So as of Monday, we reopened the whole entire company as the 27th of April. We did take a lot of measures into what we needed to do within those 3 weeks to keep everybody at bay and keep everybody with a safe distance. So we did implement our office staff rotates days in the office. We have our technicians coming in the morning at separate times. They don't all come in at the same time. They already have all their work ready from the previous day to be put into their vehicles so that they can leave. So we did a lot of adjustments in the office as well with the service department so that we could continue doing our job, but at a safe distance. As of right now, I'm at my home, but earlier today I was in the office getting the guys out and rushing them out and make sure that everybody's doing what they need to. And now the office staff, some of the office staff is at our office. And we're being very protective of the shared space that we have so that everybody feels comfortable as they're doing their daily duties.
And your technicians feel safe coming to work and they're glad to have jobs in an essential business?
My technician's response was like really, really surprising to me. Sometimes, how some of them were saying, I wish the weekend would last forever. Well, when the weekend lasts for 3.5 weeks, some of these guys were calling me. Well, like I said, we initially only have planned to close for 14 days. So when it was the 20th, that was the day that we were supposed to open, and I sent out a text after meeting with Mark and the management team saying, guys, the numbers are still a little bit too much. We need to extend another week. I even started getting texts like, oh man, we're not going back. I need to get out of this house. I want to go work. I want to get out and about, go on with life. And I told him, I understand that because, we were all in the same boat. We were home, finding projects to do at our houses, that it kind of was surprising to see some of the guys that they were ready to come back on. But in fact, I should not be saying this, but some of them even gained a little bit of weight from being home for 3.5 weeks.
I know the feeling. I'm working in the kitchen today. That's a bad thing to do, Dusty. It's real easy to just grab something. Yeah, I be careful what you ask for because you might get it. I said, if I weren't on the road every week and I were in control of my schedule and dining choices, I'd lose 20 pounds. Those are lies we tell ourselves. That didn't actually happen. I traveled 48 weeks. I'm not traveling at all now. It's interesting how when you get what you want, sometimes it's not exactly what you're expecting.
Correct. So yes, moving on to your question in the lawn care side, you were saying?
Yeah, so are your consumers on the lawn care side comfortable and expecting you to come out as an essential business in Florida?
Yeah, those were the ones that, like I said, the pest control was surprising that, yes, we got actually a 50-50 kind of feedback from the lawn care saying, why are you guys home? You guys just work outside. You're not supposed to like contact with anybody. We really need you guys. And when I started getting those calls, I was like, okay, yeah, we do work outside. Um, it was a mixed signals with some people. I know that some, have actually pushed their services, which I understand financially. Some have pushed to May, to June, to July. Let's see where we're at the end of this. But as we're calling our customers, we had moved away from calling customers. We send texts or emails to let them know, notifying them that we were going to be going to do their service. We kind of have been a little bit more respectful in calling them and saying, look, this is what's going on. We're back at full force, and we want to do the service for you. And I would say about 90% of the customers are like, come on down and do the service. I need it. As you do say, we're in Florida and it's hot outside. It's like 93 degrees outside right now. We have had very little rain, to the point where a lot of lawns are stressed, chinch bugs, things that we don't see, grasshoppers, army worms. A customer called me, he showed me, uh, sent me some pictures of army worms eating some of their soja lawns. It was devastating. Like we needed to get out there as an emergency to treat it. So those calls are kind of like encouraging to say, yes, there's nothing better than to say our industry, for most part, is always gonna on continuous basis, especially as far south as we are. It's always something going on. The whitefly problem, which I know a lot of the other places don't have those issues. Whitefly issues where entire hedges are defoliating, or your golden mounds are turning black because of so much sooty mold. All these things, customers see they're home right now, and they're seeing this happen to their yard. So it becomes priority as they're seeing that bush every day declining and declining and declining. It's not like they're going off to work the whole day. They come back at night, they don't see this. They're there every day. So the urgency or the need to get that treated just escalated a lot more. So, and like I said, yes, we're very, very happy and very fortunate to have work and be able to come in and do what we love to do. I mean, I love doing what I do. I never hidden it from anybody. So being able to be part of this industry is very, very special to me.
It is very, very special. What about, do you guys knock on the door to announce that you're there to the customer, or have you suspended that? And are people coming outside and talking to technicians?
Yeah, we actually have got away from knocking on doors. We text our customers that we're on their property to do a service. And I'm actually gonna have a webinar next week with Podium in regards to using their system. I don't, Podium. They're
We do. In
yeah,
fact, we're working on an integration potentially with Podium.
correct. So to do textiles information saying, Mrs. Smith, we're outside for your services. If you have any concerns, please just write us back on this text, and we'll make sure to see them on your yard for our technicians. So that's another step that we're taking to try to minimize contact. Have I met customers? I have, but very far away. I mean, some of them don't even walk too close. They just stay their distance, and they show me what they need to show me, and very respectful. Nothing. I have my mask on, my gloves if I need to touch stuff around their yard, and their fences or whatever the case may be. And customers have been very respectful in regards to keeping distance in between us, myself, my workers, and everything.
That's awesome. And this is not an event. Don't you think this will be a way of life? I don't think we'll get to 4th of July and say, oh, okay, well, it's safe to come out and we'll just go back to doing everything we did the way we did it before.
I've been preaching that this is the new normal. We actually changed even our work schedule. For our service department, we work 4-day weeks to minimize the time that we have to be going to the shop. So we're working Tuesdays to Fridays. We are rotating our office staff. And right now we have it as a 6-week projection. And in 6 weeks, we'll reevaluate where we need to continue extending that. And I think this is something that's going to go beyond the fall, I think.
You're the first person to talk about the 4-day work week. True Green utilized that a couple years ago very successfully. If you can balance your customer needs and your production requirements with a 4-day work week, don't you think that's going to help with employee retention as well?
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys are really happy. I mean, one of them, his birthday is this Monday coming up. And he's like, well, I'm very fortunate. You guys are giving me my Monday as a holiday. And I said, yeah, funny. But it was something that we thought is, if we minimize the contacts of people in the office and our personnel coming to the yard by, removing 1 day a week, it's just kind of being more precaution. And we did it a week prior to us closing when this really, started getting, started enhancing the numbers. We did it and it worked just fine. Is there exception to every rule? I don't think we'll work Mondays, but there is some customers that are just gun ho. It has to be on a Saturday service. And I say, well, so exception to every rule, we will cater to those customers as needed. We are in the service industry as a company, so we would make those adjustments. But yes, we did make that also adjustment as going as the 4-day week.
That is a good one. So tell me about how you're approaching sales right now. Is it, do you do in-field sales? Is it primarily on the phone? And anything at all that's changed from a sales perspective?
Well, back in the days, we were never a one-step sales company. We kind of never really wrapped our head around it. And the last couple of years, we have wrapped our head around it. So now we do both. We have options for our customers. There is personnel that's trained in the office that's to do certain type of sales, mosquito, lawn care. So very lawn care is one of the main ones that we sell by the phones. Mosquito, pest controls if it's just a regular home that just needs regular service. But we also have our outside sales staff just because we have a lot of palms and hedges and a lot of foliage in our yards that you can't really see it on a map style basis. So we do have a lot of our guys we have 3 sales guys that go out every day to appointments to make sales. Not only that, but they also help out with quality control. I think customers just seeing the person that sold them because they have an issue 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, and that guy is still very involved in the process of their service. It has really gave us a longevity in customer retention, and we do very well in that. As the company has gotten bigger, the cancellation side has actually, for most part, either stayed the same or has some years he actually even declined. So
that's fantastic. Would you guys ever consider, I don't know if you're familiar with LawnBot, that's an integrated AI tool from Kendall Hines. Have you ever considered the AI LawnBot tools for lawn?
Yes, I've actually spoke to Kendall, got the ad solutions, got an estimate for that. And it's something that we had in the works for the 2020, 2021 seasons. And how can we start implementing this? Then we got so ramped up January, February, and then March, COVID came in that we kind of put anything else that has to be implemented that has to do either with sales, marketing, any of those that is using cash to put those into process, we kind of just stop those for right now until we get the cash flow going. Where is the base of our customers going to be? What's now the new recurring revenue? As we don't know, because it's uncertain as what's the percentage of customers that are going to be, hey, I'm financially strapped, or what is that we need to do. But yes, I'm very aware of the bot sales system, and I like it. I have nothing against it if it's just for the lawn care side of the business. It's very, very easy to do.
It's interesting, our customers who have adopted it, and you and I have known this for a long time, but you get folks out on the lawn on a Saturday afternoon, a lot of times they'll buy from the first person they get a price from and a commitment. And you get a notification every time there's a sale, and one of our customers just keeps sending me screenshots. Like the first day they turned it on at 3 o'clock, it was on a Friday, and they made a sale at like 6, 9, and 10 that night. That, they would have began to call back and start the process, even if it was one step, maybe on Monday. So I look into that again. The ROI, we don't have one customer that's left it or that didn't think the return on the investment was there. But you just touched upon kind of COVID is two factors. One, the obvious and immediate health impacts to potentially your employees and certainly the US population. And then secondarily, the downstream implications of economic consequence. Have you started to see people push back because they don't know where they're going with their jobs? And if so, do you all have a strategy to maybe shore up with some value programs to meet their needs?
Yeah, we have actually, that was one of the main reasons as to when we were closed down and we extended that 1 week. And once I was speaking with Iris and Anthony, he's our sales manager, and they were getting emails and contacts and saying, hey, look, I got a couple customers that I sold. Anthony has sold them, but we can't get out them. We have signed contracts, and even some of the customers actually, moved on to another company because we were shut down. And I was saying, hey, I got emails of people like the army worm situation or grubs or the white flies destroying their ficus hedges. So once I started seeing that, I was like, okay, it's not only about losing the customer that needs something now. I'm looking at the financial implications of how many of our customer base is gonna feel the effects of this, and would lawn care be a priority in their budget, right? We budget stuff as marketing and sales, and what are we gonna spend on chemicals and fertilizers. Well, we do that every day in our homes, right? What is it that we're going to purchase, and what is it that we see as in the list of priorities? And I said, I'm not even so worried about, okay, April, we knew we shut down most of April. We were going to lose that in April. But mine was the forecast of 6 months to 12 months, because as I just said, this is definitely going into the fall. How many people just like us, it's going to take time for us to recover for being shut down for almost a month. For an individual homeowner that has not worked for 2 months, or God knows foreseen future, where will we be in the priority list? So I have not seen the acute damage of that. Have I seen people push off their services of right now because they don't know of the uncertainty? Yes, but all outright canceled, we've had a couple, but not significantly to say, oh man, this is a big issue that we need to address right now. We're even considering if customers, that are pushing their services just because of financial hardship, or just it's not in their wheelhouse right now, do we change their programs around? What we consider a full program a year, can we scale it back a little bit, but still give them the guarantee that their yard is going to still have sustained a color, or what is their expectations? And that's still to be seen, as we've just been open a week.
And you all being in Southern Florida, is it a 12 application treatment for lawn care? Are you actually out every month for fertilization and weed control?
No, for our starting customers, we're 7 times a year for St. Augustine grasses. So 7 times a year, and then only monthly accounts that we have is when you have specialty turf like Bermuda or Soja lawns. Here in South Florida and in Miami over the last, I would say, 6, 7 years, a lot of people have gone away from just regular old St. Augustine, which I know most people up north think that's a weed. It's not even a lawn, right? But that was our major lawn that we use. 90% of our customer base has that lawn. Shortly, Empire Soja has gotten a lot of popularity, and it's been getting changed to that Cashmere Soja, Diamond Soja, to the point where our monthly services have actually increased just because that lawn requires that kind of attention. It's always constantly being bombarded either with army worms, weeds, and fungus, because we do have different type of fungal seasons here in Florida that it could be really damaging. And trying to push those lawns to every 60 days, we've seen that the color never really holds very well since it's always constantly getting mowed. This is a high maintenance turf. We had to make adjustments. So we, I would say 30% of our accounts are probably on a monthly, and then every other one is on every other month. And we kind of have been done with quarterly accounts since I've been around since 2007. We just it's very hard to keep the customers' expectations with the constant pressures that we have down here with torrential rains, the heat, the humidity, and all that. That quarterly accounts just doesn't work for us anymore.
The last time my daughter was down in Florida with me and we were sitting in grass at a home, she said, "This is fake grass." I said, "No, no, your sweet little Indiana bottom has never touched anything but Kentucky bluegrass, and this is actually grass down here." But in terms of setting expectations, when I was at Scotts Miracle-Gro, we had a scientist from University of Florida one time, and I was sharing with him trends from net promoter scores, and it was probably in the heat of the summer, and in our Fort Lauderdale location, we had just terrible response to the way the lawns were performing. And he said to me, "Beth, Florida is a peninsula up at the bottom of the US. It's this little thing, and it was once covered with salt water, and it is still often covered with salt water. And the fact that we get the results that we do get is miraculous, but especially when you have folks from the Midwest that move down your way because they love the weather, I think there is this expectation of, where's my beautiful green lawn?"
Bluish, greenish, beautiful lawn, yes. And even within the states, we have very, very changing climate. I mean, the tri-counties here, Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade, and we will even say the west coast of Florida, Fort Myers, Naples, Sarasota, they have very similar climate to us. If you just drive 2 hours north and you go to Port St. Lucie or you're in Orlando, you're in a different time, you're in a different clock of treatment because they actually do have some soil. We have very little organic material that we could actually work with, a lot of sandy soils, that filler muck that they use to fill out our neighborhoods. So trying to grow nice, healthy, beautiful green lawn is a little difficult in some of these areas where we don't really got much material to actually have the grass grow. Oh, and palm trees everywhere, shade is everywhere, big trees everywhere. So it's always a little bit of a challenge.
That's very cool. Do you all still use the Greene County fertilizer organic materials?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, we still use John Perry's Green County BioGreen. We've been using BioGreen since 2009, and that's one of the things that really has helped our lawns continue to thrive and change. Actually, this year was one of the first times I went up to their seminar in Georgia, and it was very interesting to see the plant and where it is that we get our products. So yes, we still very much use them.
One of the best parts of my jobs in the last 30 years is I've had the opportunity to visit celebrity properties. Lots of major sports figures, John Mellencamp, Stephen King, And I don't think it was a celebrity, but the day I spent with you was one of the most memorable I've spent in 30 years. And we went by the Bacardi Mansion, and then we went to a home where they filmed the Victoria's Secret model catalog, or at least that's what you said. I don't know, maybe you just look at the women there.
That house actually has been purchased. It was one of the most expensive purchases in Miami. I think it was $38 million that house got sold for.
Do
Yeah.
you guys still take care of it?
Yes, we do. Just it's going through a complete remodeling and complete transformation. Buy a $38 million home and then gut it out and then redo it again and then put new landscaping. That's something I will not be able to fathom, but that's what's happened. Yeah, we do a lot of big homes that 60,000 square feet of diamond Soja. I mean, place looks like a private little golf course, and it's and we have to battle because most of these houses, these beautiful homes here in Miami, are always up against a beach or against the salt water, against a waterfront, and it's a little challenging sometimes, especially when we get these heavy winds and rains.
Well, I've told John Perry this story multiple times, but when I was at Scott's Miracle Grow and our customers said they wanted an organic program, and it was always chicken manure of some variety, we never saw results. And when I saw what they did with, in conjunction with the lawns you treat, in an area of the country that I've seen really mixed results at best, but you have excellent trained personnel. I was really impressed with your lawns there.
Thank you. Well, thank you. You know, we do try very hard to keep a standard, and one of the things that I think our office staff and Mark has really bought in, and he understands it. We're a customer service business, and if we're gonna say we got to do something for your lawn, we gotta whatever it takes, right? Of course, you know, price points and things like that have to be matched within whatever it takes. But there is a lot of customers that understand that to maintain a nice, healthy landscape, it's a process, and we need to have training. You know, we can have a property that has 20 different type of palm trees and 3 different type of big trees in the yard, and then maybe even 2 different type of lawns. In the front, they kept palmetto or Seville, St. Augustine grass, and in the back they have Empire or Cashmere, just because their lawns are so big and their yards are are decorative in different styles. And we have to be able to, okay, what do we apply to this lawn? What do we do to this lawn? And we have to train for it.
Well, you all do a fantastic job. I've got one last question here for you. Has your team thought through any strategic opportunities that might emerge where you can actually leverage the disruption of the COVID event? So for instance, we have clients who are adding a disinfectant line because in some states you have to be a registered pesticide applicator to go into the home, and there are products that are labeled for coronavirus viral sides. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about adding any other service lines, or is the business so strong that really you're already as diversified as you need to be?
We are diversified, and I can't complain. It is strong. Um, Paul, one of our technicians that he's our lead technician, our trainer, certified operator. He's been in this business since 2007, along with me in One Two Tree. He actually brought that up. He's like, Dusty, you know, we do have disinfectants and things like that. What can we do to make applications that benefit customers and give them some kind of sense of ease? So it's in the works. It's something that's been planning, but it's been so much stuff that we have had to battle since last Wednesday that we're probably going to see something work in the works in the next couple months with that.
Very, very cool. Is it easy to get technicians licensed in the state of Florida? Is the licensing Department of Ag or whatever it is in Florida, are they still open and allowing you to license new technicians?
Yes, the Florida Department of Agriculture in Florida has really stepped up and making it much easier for us as far as their online services now are 10 times faster. I mean, they respond. They're, you know, most people are afraid to call. when it comes to, the Florida Department or whatever government agency, they're very friendly and they're very helpful. So the changing of IDs or getting CEUs or even getting the certificates updated has been a very easy process over the last year. It's getting
That's
much
true.
better. Yes.
In some states, they're not answering their phones, so we're not even getting responses. So that's amazing. Well, I'm in Florida, but I'm in the Panhandle this week, and I would love it if you guys would open all the beaches everywhere. I know it's by county, but I feel like a 3-year-old. You can look, but don't touch. Can't go to the pool, can't go to the beach. It's 90 degrees out. It's a very foreign concept.
Yeah, and I live like half a mile away from a beach, and it sucks that I can't go to just walk the sand or nothing. I was in my home for 3.5 weeks, and I was finding projects to do because you can't go nowhere. So I hope some things could be opening, and there is some things I do agree that should be opening. I mean, beaches, parks, where we could, kind of just, uh, one of the things that we talked about in our office staff is not only our mental health, which is our staff, which we care very much for, but the mental health of our customers. We sometimes don't understand that, we're calling them, we're asking them if they want a service, and if sometimes you might get somebody that's just had a bad week or getting bad information sent to them on an email, and we are the scapegoats. I told everybody in our office, guys, just be there. I understand because the mental health of a lot of our customers is probably not the same where it was at the beginning of March, and we have to be understanding for that. So I think for mental health for a lot of our citizens to go to a beach or go to a park, ride a bike on a trail, right now is monumentally important. Not a bar, not a movie theater, but just being outside and enjoying South Florida.
We won't ever take those moments for granted again. And I think this will be a reference point in years to come that we can all do really hard things. But boy, when we can all get together again and share a beer, that will be a very happy day for me. Your friendship and your support of Real Green, we've appreciated over the years. We're a better company because of your company. Thank you for taking time out of your day today. I know you guys are swamped. Tell Mark and Iris I said hello. And I really appreciate any feedback you continue to get from what's going on in Florida. I would really appreciate passing it along to our other customers.
Thank you very much, Beth. And yes, Real Green has always been a part that's actually making our life easier right now. We got the mobile life going. I've talked to Chris. I told Chris that I will start looking into the budget so I can start releasing some money because we do need to start sending out some kind of promotional. I've had really good results. DM mail outs and direct mail, the neighborhood production cards. I constantly get these through that, so I know it works. It's something that if I didn't see the numbers when I get my ROI form saying where are we getting our leads, I know exactly where they're coming from, and anything that you're putting yourself in front of a new customer to be able to sell them your services, whatever's helping you get that, and it's continuously working, you got to stick to it. So you guys have always been great. Joe has always been great. So it's always been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, and we'll hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.